Hello people of the internet, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we're going to be talking about the bizarre disappearance and murder of the Jamison family. New Jersey. This is not where the case I'm talking about takes place. It actually takes place in Oklahoma. So the Jamison family was from Eufaula, Oklahoma, and the family consisted of Bobby, 44, Sherilyn, 40, and Madison, 6. They were interested in buying a plot of land, 40 acres, in Red Oak, Oklahoma, which is only like 30 miles away. And this is actually where they would later be found, in an isolated mountain range, woody area. So Sherilyn's son from a previous marriage, Colton, spoke to her weeks before they disappeared, and she never mentioned them planning to move or anything. So basically them moving was not knowledge to anybody. No one knew about this. So in October 2009, their truck was found deserted in Red Oak in the mountain area of southeast Oklahoma. And as I said, it was deserted. No one was there. The Jamison family was nowhere to be found. The looks of the area and the truck, there's no sign of distress or struggle. The truck that they were driving didn't even have any damage on it, so it's not like they crashed and something happened. It was just parked on the side of the road. So when investigators and cops searched the vehicle, they found inside Bobby and Sherilyn's wallets, IDs, a GPS, maps, and $32,000 in cash. 32,000. Let me put emphasis on that. That's a lot of money, guys, like in cash. That's a lot of money. They were packing. As I was doing my research, some sources said that they were known to carry a lot of cash like that, but then other sources said differently. For example, another source said that they were both, Bobby and Sherilyn, were both on disability, and where they got this amount of cash and where it could have come from was unknown, and they didn't understand how they had that much. So out of those two possibilities, I don't know which one is true, but I'm gonna lean towards they were on disability and they have no idea where they got that cash, looking at the theories, which we'll get into. So along with all the items they found, the family dog, Maisie, was also in the car, and she was in horrible condition, guys. She was malnourished, she was skinny, she had not eaten for about a week. A lot of people question what happened to the dog after this, and I just want to reveal the dog is totally fine, got adopted, living her best life now, okay? Maisie got a happy ending. If only Maisie could talk, because this whole mystery I'm about to talk about, well, it wouldn't be a mystery, because she saw everything that happened. It's just a wild, wild thought to think about that. So frustrating. So as I was saying, there was no sign of the Jamison family anywhere, and in the initial investigation, they had suggested that they had not disappeared on their own accord. Investigators on the case suspected that drugs were involved in their disappearance. You can see where this idea started to come about because of the large amount of cash they found in the car, $32,000, not a joke. But if they were doing illegal drug activities and selling or buying, why would they bring their 6-year-old daughter, Madison, with them? Like, it doesn't make sense. Or the dog. I could see why you would bring the dog for some sort of protection, but your 6-year-old daughter, why would you bring her? And again, there was no sign of distress or struggle, so we don't know if they were forced out of the car or if they voluntarily left the vehicle. But they continue to search and search for miles and miles, and nothing. They come up with nothing. The Jamison family disappeared without a trace. No footprints, no broken branches, nothing. There was literally nothing they could go on. And because of this, the case went completely cold until November 13th of 2013. Guys, only 3 miles away from where the Jamison truck was found deserted, hunters came across skeletal remains of a child and 2 adults. The cause of death of these remains couldn't be determined because of the state of decomposition, and the bodies were found face down, side by side to each other. Even though the remains were found on November 13th of 2013, they weren't positive and confirmed to be the Jamison family until next year on July 3rd. Prior to the whole disappearance, Bobby was actually in a lawsuit with his own father, Bob Jean. The claims were that Bob Jean threatened the family. Bobby even stated that his own father struck him with a vehicle. And Bob Jean was even involved with gangs and meth and just illegal activities, but police do not believe that he had anything to do with their disappearance. So with all of that brings the first theory, drugs. Red Oak, Oklahoma is apparently known for producing crystal meth, something I read online, and Bobby and Sherilyn were reported to be looking thinner and weaker before their disappearance. Could they have just gotten involved with drugs? The security footage that was taken actually that day outside of their home showed them moving in like a trance-like state. And as I've said before, and the investigators thought this too, the amount of cash they had on them made this whole theory, or makes this whole theory, more credible. And if they were on disability and were having money issues, and just the whereabouts of where they got this cash in the first place was a mystery and unknown, this almost seems like it seals the deal. Like, maybe this was drugs. Even Sherilyn's best friend, Nikki Shepard, thought this was possible. Sherilyn and Bobby's mothers, though, think otherwise. They do not think that drugs were involved in any way in this case. And police and investigators never found any trace of illegal drugs or substances in their home or truck. So this theory, it's just a theory. There's no evidence. Heads up, if this is your first time hearing about this case, all of the theories are like this. There's just no sign or evidence for any of them. Leading me into theory number 2 is cults, witchcraft, and evil spirits. The Jamison family had reportedly told their pastor on several different occasions before their disappearance that they had spirits in their home. Spirits who had apparently belonged to a family that died a long time ago. Even their 6-year-old daughter had apparently interacted and talked with one of the ghost children. And because of all this paranormal activity, it had Bobby freaking out, so he went to his pastor to ask for special bullets to shoot the spirits with. Bobby's so concerned that he even consulted in a satanic Bible to see how he can exorcise these spirits. I found a random quote saying 2 to 4 ghosts on the roof. Something that pushes this theory more is that when the cops were searching their home and their property, they found items of witchcraft. Specifically, it was a witch's Bible. Nikki Shepard, again, Sherilyn's best friend, spoke on this. Sherilyn and Nikki were both interested in witchcraft, so they bought the witchcraft Bible as a joke. But aside from it being a joke, Nikki actually did believe that the Jamison house was haunted. Here's a quote from Nikki. She said, "Once I was in the living room and a sort of gray mist descended down the stairs and it really scared me." She even claimed that Sherilyn came to her and told her about a time that Bobby was walking towards her and his eyes were completely dead and black, like he was possessed. Now, Nikki doesn't believe that witchcraft was entirely responsible for their disappearance and death, but we never know how much of a believer Sherilyn actually was. Like, Nikki believed everything to an extent, but how much of an extent did Sherilyn believe it to? Was she a way bigger believer than Nikki? Was she practicing it more and Nikki not know about it? And even Bobby confessed to the pastor that he read the witch's Bible, so how much of a believer was he? How much was he practicing it? So they were in this together. They could have just been feeding off of each other and just doing stuff that we don't know about. Connie, Sherilyn's mother, actually believes that they somehow got entangled and caught up with cult activities and were killed by violent members. She even goes as far as saying that that part of Oklahoma is known for harboring cults and stuff like that. And apparently around the time that they disappeared, Connie was told by someone that Sherilyn was on the cult hit list. The name of the cult, unknown. Connie never said it, and there is no evidence that proves that this is true and that this theory is possible. Theory number 3 is murder-suicide. While searching the property of the Jamison family, the police actually found an angry 11-page letter written to Bobby from Sherilyn. Now, with that being said, is it possible that Bobby got so mad that he could drive his family to the middle of nowhere and kill his wife and child? But again, no evidence supports this. No evidence proves that this is possible. And theory number 4 is Jean Jamison. Now, I know I already mentioned this earlier in the video about the problems they were having and the relationship issues that they had and how this was already proven not the case, but I wanted to just give you more details on that. So Bobby filed a protective order against his dad. Bobby claimed that his family feared for their lives and that Bob Dean was a very dangerous man who thinks he's above the law. So 2 months after their disappearance, Bob Dean actually passed away. Bob Dean's health had been bad for a while. I mean, you can almost imagine how bad it must have been if he was older and involved with prostitutes, gang, and meth. Like, that could take a toll on you, you know? Jack Jamison, who was Bobby's brother, kind of came to the defense of their father, who said that he was either at the hospital or at rest at home, and even though their father was a fucked up person, he doesn't think that he was capable of murder, and even if he was, he couldn't have because his health was so bad. So again, with this theory, it's not really possible. There's no evidence. it's a dead end. So some ending updates that I found: the sheriff who was involved in the case at the time of the disappearance actually ended up quitting and moving overseas in 2011. I think it was Nikki that reported this, but it was said that he quit because he was so consumed by guilt that he couldn't find justice or find out what happened to Madison, their 6-year-old daughter, so he quit. The pastor who Bobby consulted with moved out of the area, and he hasn't spoken about the case. It's one of those cases that has all of these good leads but no direction to take it in, and I don't know why I like doing this and reading and learning about this stuff, because it's just frustrating, but I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, that's all, folks. If you have any more theories of what you think could possibly have happened to the Jamison family, I would love to hear them. Or if you have more to add on to the theories that I didn't mention or something I missed out on, please let me know. And if you have any suggestions for cases you want to hear about or want me to talk about, let me know. For now, this case remains unsolved, and I wonder if they will ever find more evidence or something. Anything. I mean, I know it's cold now, but you never know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz. Anyway, guys, namaste. Have a nice day.